come home from a shift at the hospital and I'm feeling like super overwhelmed or like really like stressed and anxious, and I see your guys' messages, it honestly makes my day. Like it makes everything that's going on and all the stress and all the fear like just go away for a second. So, oh my god, I'm getting emotional.
Take me to places I've never been. You do things that make me a better man.
YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm doing my Sephora Clean at Sephora makeup recommendations, and I know that the VIB sale is coming up, and so I thought this would be a great time to share what I recommend as well as some of the things on my personal wish list that I would like to purchase during the sale. So the spring sale of 2020 for Sephora starts on April 17th for VIB Rouge members, which will run until May 1st, and any VIB Rouge member gets 20% off their purchase, which is great. If you are a VIB, then you get 15% off, and that still starts on April 21st and runs until April 29th. And if you are a beauty insider, you get 10% off, and that starts April 23rd and runs until April 27th. So those are the dates, and without any further ado, let's get into each of the categories. Primers. Now I have a few primers that I own or have owned that I recommend. So the Juice Beauty Phytopigments Illuminating Primer is so good. That was actually one of my very first primers I've ever used and purchased, and it honestly makes your skin look so hydrated. It does kind of feel moisturizing, it's a little bit lightweight, and it does have really nice amounts of shimmer in it that just make your skin look so healthy and glowy under foundation. So highly recommend that primer. The other two primers I have, we have the ILIA. This is the True Skin Radiant Priming Serum. So this is a very kind of like really lightweight serum primer, and this works by prepping your skin by hydrating it, making sure that it kind of just creates a really great base for your makeup application. And I just like how this has like some skincare properties to it as well. I highly recommend checking this out if you really like kind of really super lightweight serums for your pre-makeup. I think it's very similar to how like Versali has like their oils and like their serums for your makeup prep. So very similar, but a cleaner version. And I would say kind of more recently, Lila B did come out with in a glow priming oil. So this comes with a nice little pump, and you do kind of have to shake it because it does kind of mix up, but it's definitely a lot thicker in consistency than the ILIA True Skin Radiant Primer. It feels definitely more oily. So if you have really dehydrated skin, this is amazing. It smells so fresh and relaxing. But once you do kind of blend it in, it creates a really nice smooth base for your foundation. So this is also a really good option. If you are more oily skin, you may dislike the consistency of this because it does feel quite oily, and you may be better off with either the Juice Beauty Phytopigments Illuminating Primer or the ILIA True Skin Serum Primer. Now this product is almost like a primer slash bronzer. I don't really know where to categorize this, but this is a Drunk Elephant Debronzy Anti-Pollution Sunshine Drops. And I sometimes apply this prior to my foundation just to kind of like, if I find that my skin or my face is looking a little more fair than maybe the rest of my body, if I've self-tanned, then I'll apply this first just to kind of bring my skin a little bit more warmth, and then I'll apply my foundation on top of this just to kind of mute it down. However, I can also use this as a bronzer. So after I've done all of my foundation and my concealer, I'll go in with the brush and kind of just apply this in the general areas that I usually bronze. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. So I think it could be used as a primer as well as a bronzer. Now this has a bunch of antioxidants in it, so it does act kind of like skincare as well, and does have skin benefiting ingredients in it. So that is a really cool aspect of this. So love this product and highly recommend it. Okay, so foundations, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 different foundations, and I am going to go in order of like kind of tinted moisturizers to fuller foundations. So I've got 3 more tinted moisturizer recommendations. Here they are. So we'll start off with the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. This is a really good tinted hydrating kind of moisturizer with SPF as well as a tint. I am in the shade Ginger. This just has a really nice like moussey texture. It is pretty light coverage, but I would say it's slightly buildable up to medium. It's very, very hydrating. It feels very lightweight on the skin. It blends in so seamlessly, especially with a beauty sponge like the Beauty Blender, and this has just been a long time favorite of mine. Another kind of more like medium coverage is the Kosas Tinted Face Oil. This is really great. It's got a very liquidy consistency. You have to really shake it up. You can even hear how liquidy it is, and the shade range is a little bit more minimal in this, I believe, but I kind of range anywhere from 2, 3, or 4 just depending on what season it is. And this is really interesting because it's like an oil, but you can see it has all the different pigments in it that adds pretty decent coverage. It kind of dries down into like a semi-matte but still a tiny bit dewy finish. So that's the really interesting thing about this in comparison to, let's say, this is a little bit more tacky because it's more of a moisturizer, whereas this one I think acts a little bit more like a foundation. And then the other tinted one, this is the ILIA Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. Now, unfortunately, this is only available for any US residents who are watching my videos. If you are in Canada, this is not available. And I did find an answer. The reason is because of Canada's very strict SPF guidelines. This hasn't yet been approved in terms of the sunscreen aspect of it, so it's still pending review before it can be available in Canada. So that is why it is not available on the Canadian website. However, if you are watching and are a US resident and you can access this, then I highly recommend this. And it just has a really nice build to it. The color is really nice. I find that it does leave a little bit dewy, but once you set it down, it's just perfection. It doesn't really dry down completely. I think you definitely need to set this if you don't like having a little bit of tackiness to your skin. But yeah, I love that this has hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and squalane, as well as SPF 40. It's just got a lot of good ingredients in here, so I am obsessed with this. And then for higher coverage foundations, we have the ILIA True Skin Serum Foundation. This is a lightweight smoothing aloe infused foundation. This is definitely more of a medium foundation, maybe slightly buildable to a fuller coverage, but definitely isn't full coverage. It has a bit of a dewy finish to it. It's really nice, and I really like this foundation if I'm looking for a little bit of higher coverage over some of these tinted moisturizers. And probably the fullest coverage foundation that I have to recommend is the RMS Beauty Uncover Up Cream Foundation. I did do a full review on this where I apply it, so I will leave that in the description box down below so you can refer to that. But this is a nice cream foundation. I don't use it that frequently just because it is very full coverage, and there are numerous different shades. I am in the shade 22 for reference, and it just is very moisturizing. It does leave your skin looking pretty glowy but not dewy or tacky, and this was a really good winner if I'm looking for something super full coverage. If I'm going for a night out and I really want to make sure that my skin is flawless, then we'll pick this guy out. Okay, so now we're moving on to concealers. So I only have one concealer to recommend and then a concealer on my wish list. So the concealer I do recommend is the ILIA. This is the True Skin Serum Concealer. I am in the shade Chicory. This is such a good concealer. I think it's one of my favorite concealers that I own, and it's just really creamy. It's buildable, it's smooth, it blends like a dream. I love applying it under my eyes, but it's also pretty good for spot concealing. It's not the highest coverage in terms of concealing blemishes, so if you have a really hard to cover up blemish, this may not do the trick, but it's a really good brightening concealer if you like kind of brightening up your T-zone and under your eyes. It's amazing for that and like minor blemishes. The concealer that is on my wish list is the new Kosas concealer, which is the Kosas Revealer Concealer Super Creamy and Brightening Concealer. And I just saw that this is a pretty recent launch. They've been doing lots and lots of launches recently, and yeah, I'm really interested in their concealer because I do really like their foundation. So I have seen a couple reviews and it does look like a concealer I want to try, and the whole creamy and brightening thing definitely draws me in because I love a good creamy and brightening concealer. Alright, setting powders. The ILIA Fade Into Soft Focus Setting Powder is honestly the best setting powder I've ever used. I've compared this to the NARS translucent powder as well as the Laura Mercier under eye brightening powder or translucent powder, whatever it is. This is so good. It's really finely milled, it's super smooth, it doesn't mattify too much, but it does kind of just like, it takes the tackiness away and it doesn't allow you to get greasy or oily, but I do find it doesn't like take away glow. So if you do apply like illuminating and moisturizing, you know, products underneath that you want to still show through, I feel like this still allows it to, but takes away any of the shine from unwanted oil. So love this. Now the other powder that I have that I recommend that is for a specific reason is the Lawless Seal the Deal Loose Setting Powder in Brightening Translucent. Now I actually don't have that anymore because I did gift it to a friend, a makeup artist who will get more use out of it than I have. And the reason is it's a bit of a pinky undertone. It's really, really good for baking. It's a little bit thicker of a powder, like almost more like baking powdery than like super fine. So that I can see is really good for baking, which is something that I don't actually do. So I handed it off, but if you have like kind of like darkness under your eyes and you really want to brighten it, that was a really good one for it. It just didn't serve me a purpose, but I do recommend that one. Okay, so for blush, there aren't a lot of clean blushes on Sephora that I've personally tried or any that I really want to try. So the ones that I have to recommend are the ILIA multi-sticks. Now I have the old and the new packaging, but this one is the color At Last and I Put a Spell on You. Both of these are super pretty. So I Put a Spell on You is more of like a corally color. Ladybird's also really nice. At Last is like one of my go-tos. It's kind of like a rosy color. Both of these are so beautiful. They blend in really nicely. They blended over powders also really nicely, and they're also multi-useful, so you can put them on your eyes, your cheeks, and your lips. So I really do like those. Really great formulation, and they're super compact, so they're good to travel with. Okay, bronzers. Now, I don't really have any bronzers to recommend, but I do have a lot on my wish list. So I'm a huge bronzer fanatic. Like, I love bronzers. So the few that I have on my wish list are the Lawless Summer Skin Velvet Matte Bronzer. Now, I actually swatched this in store about a few months ago, and I was really impressed with the formulation and the coloring of it. So I can't remember why I didn't pick it up. I think I was just trying to be minimalist, but yeah, that was a really nice formulation and color, so I really liked that one. The other two bronzers that I've been interested in, so Lila B, the Bronzed Beauty Bronzer Duo, which has like the two halves. I'll put a picture up on the screen so you guys can see what I'm referencing, and all the links are down below. This bronzer I've seen many people use, and it looks like it's got a bit of shimmer, and it looks a little bit more fair than some other bronzers out there. There's only, I think, one shade, and that looks so beautiful. Every time I see it on someone, I just think it looks so flawless and just natural, and I'm a big fan of Lila B products, so that's why I was really interested in that one. But it does carry a heavy price tag, which is why I've been a little bit hesitant to picking it up, but with the sale, it makes it a little bit more accessible. And then the last bronzer I have on my wish list is a brand new launch from Kosas, which I think was launched on April 15th or 14th, and that is the Sun Show Moisturizing Baked Bronzer. And I think it comes in 3 different shades. They look pretty shimmery. The whole like baked makes me think that it's got like kind of like baked swirls in it, and from the pictures it does look like it has a little bit of a sheen to it, which I don't mind. I do like a matte and a shimmer, just depending on the day. So that one I want to try, and the whole moisturizing aspect of it makes me think it's going to be like really buttery, so that is on my wish list. Okay, so for highlighters, I've got 3 highlighters to recommend and 3 highlighters on my wish list. So let's go. So the first one I have to recommend is probably one of my all-time favorite highlighters and very luxurious. It's a good time to pick this up because it is quite expensive, and that is the Lila B Glisten and Glow. This is in Be Enchanting. I have it on my cheeks right now, and it's just like a very natural, well, it's not that natural, like you can definitely see it, but it's a lot more subtle than some of the really intense highlights out there. I do like that it's a bit of a creamier formula, and I apply it always with my fingers. I think it's just so pretty. It has such a nice sheen to it. It makes you look so healthy and glowy and dewy, and honestly, this is hands down one of my favorite products, and I am so happy I have this in my life. I know it's so expensive, so this is the perfect time to pick this up if you have had your eye on it. So the other highlighters I have to recommend are the ILIA Liquid Lights. Now they have two colors. They have Atomic and they have Nova. Atomic is much more of a pinky undertone. It's actually not my personal preference to have a pinky undertone, but let's say you do have naturally pinky undertones, you might actually prefer this, especially if you have fairer skin. Sometimes the warmer tones just aren't in your favor, so this is a good option. I like these because they're so multi-purposeful. Like, I will apply this underneath my foundation just for like kind of that hint of glow and highlight underneath my foundation, or you can just take a little bit and dab it on your cheekbones. The Nova color I think is just absolutely stunning. It's more of like a kind of champagne gold, and I love this warm tone. It's just super stunning. You also get a ton of product. Like, this will last you forever. And the last highlight I have is a powder highlight. This is the RMS Beauty Luminizing Powder in Grande Dame, and this is just more of like a pow highlight in my opinion. It's really, really buttery. It feels so soft. It has a little bit more of like a gold tone, but even like my arm right now is pretty fair, and it's not too deep on my hand in terms of the swatch, so I think you can get away with this if you are more fair, and obviously you can get away with this if you are more like a medium tan. If you do like a little bit of a lighter highlight, I think this could also work on deeper skin tones, so really, really like this. It does have a bit more of an intense color than, for example, the Lila B. So now on to my wish list. I really want to try the new RMS Beauty Living Luminizer Glow Face and Body powder, which is a loose powder, and in the picture on the website they just have a model like brushing her collarbones, and it looks so beautiful. And I like the thought of like body as well, like a body shimmer, because in the summertime when I self tan and I have like a nice dress on, I'm going out, I love taking my highlight and running it down the center of my leg and on my collarbones and my shoulders. I think it just looks so healthy and beautiful, and it kind of is like that Victoria's Secret-esque glow, so that intrigued me. I know you can do that with any highlighter, but like I got pretty sold on the graphics, so that is on one of my wish lists. The other one is the Lawless Lucid Skin Highlighter. Now this one I actually believe is on sale already, so I'm not sure if it's going to have an additional discount and or if it's being discontinued, which is why on sale. This one honestly just looks like a really intense highlight, so that's what drew me to it, because every once in a while I do like a little bit of a bang highlight, so if it's already on sale and then there'll be additional, I think it's a really good deal. Last highlighter is the new Aether Beauty Supernova Crushed Diamond Highlighter. Now they have two different colors. One is significantly more pink and one's kind of like a pinky gold. Now again, like I mentioned, I'm not a huge pink person, so I'm not sure how I'll feel about it, but it does have pretty good reviews, and Aether Beauty has really nice pigmented bronzers or pigmented formulations, so that is why I am drawn to this one. So those are the three highlighters I have on my wish list. Eyeshadow palettes. Okay, so I have two. The ILIA Beauty The Necessary palette in Warm Nude is such a beautiful palette. I think it works both in fall and in summer, honestly all year round, but I'm just more drawn to these colors in those times because it's just like autumn leaves, but also like these bronzes just remind me of like a golden goddess. So love this palette. The pigmentation is incredible, the blendability is great. I do have a few looks using this, so if you want to check that out for reference, it's going to be linked next to the product link. And same thing with this one. This is the little one by Lawless, and this comes with 8 different shadows, a mix of mostly mattes and 2 shimmers. And yeah, this is just a really good little compact palette that's super dirty and messy, but don't mind that. That is it for my recommendations for eyeshadows. For brows, I only have one recommendation because the other brow product I like is not available on Sephora. So the ILIA Essential Brow is a brow gel. It's got like a little spoolie brush like this. And if you're a fan of like the boy brows or just like kind of like messy brows, or you want to set your brows after you go in with your pomade or your pencil, this is a really good one. I feel like it makes my eyebrows look a little bit thicker and like bushier if you like that look. For mascara, again, I only have one because the other mascaras that I like are not available on Sephora. So I have the ILIA Limitless Lash Mascara. This is such a great mascara. I'm actually wearing it right now. It's actually only in one of my eyes. I believe it's this one, and that'll make sense in another video because I did two different comparisons of two mascaras. But yeah, this is a great mascara. It's really good at lengthening and separating, and yes, it's a good one. Okay, eyeliner, again, I only have one. This is the ILIA. This is the Clean Liquid, no, this is called the Clean Line Liquid Liner, and it's just this really nice fine tip, really fine tip pointed felt liquid liner, and it's really good and precise. It's smudge proof, it holds up really well, and I really like making my little cat eyes with this. I prefer this over a liquid liner just because I find I have more control and precision. So if you're looking for kind of like a felt tip one like this, it's really good. It's also very black. It's not like it's not like a dark gray or a charcoal, it's true black. For a setting spray, the Lila Be A Glow Facial Mist is just so incredible. I love spraying this on my face after I have completed my makeup. I find it just makes me look glowy and adds like dewiness back to my skin, especially if I've lost it with so many like layers of powder. If I tend to do a more powdery makeup application, and it also is a really good refresher. So I found kind of like later on in the day after having like makeup on for a few hours that my skin was looking like a little bit dry and dull, and this just like brought my skin back to life and made it glowy and looking healthy and fresh again. So I love this so much. I know it also comes in a mini, which I think I might pick up because it would be amazing to have this in my purse. Okay, and for lips, I've got 3 product recommendations and I've got 4 product recommendations and 1 wish list. So the first one I'm going to start off with is the Kosas Stardust, or basically any of the weightless lip color lipsticks. I really like the color Stardust, Rosewater. Those are my 2 go-tos, and these are just so moisturizing, really pigmented, and they last pretty decently. Obviously they do wear off with time. They're not a like super matte lipstick, they're also not a liquid lipstick, so they do wear off, but really beautifully. And I really don't mind reapplying my lipstick, so I really like this formulation. The next product I have to recommend is somehow misplaced, and that is the Kosas Sport Lip Fuel Hyaluronic Lip Balm in the color Pulse specifically. And basically it's a really hydrating lip balm. It's got a nice kind of like rosy tint to it, and it makes your lips kind of just look like your lip color but better, a little bit more rosy and super moisturizing. So I really like that product. I can't figure out where I put it though. I also really like the ILIA. This is the Color Block High Impact Lipsticks. I have the shade Rosette. This is the new packaging. It's just to die for. I love this color, and I love this nude packaging. It's just so pretty. The lipsticks themselves are pretty moisturizing, so they're not really matte, but they don't look too shiny at the same time or too glossy, if you guys know what I mean. They smell really good, and again, I would say they're pretty similar in wear as the Kosas ones. And the last product I have to recommend that I own is the Lila B. These are the Lovingly Lip Tinted Lip Oils, and these have a really cool, interesting applicator, and they're a little bit thicker than your traditional like lip gloss in my opinion, or they're like a kind of like thick lip gloss. They're very hydrating. They actually carry a lot of pigment to them, and they smell like berries. Very, very nice. So I really enjoy these, and I only have this color, which is in Be Elegant, which is like a true nude, and it's a really nice nude lip gloss. It's hard to describe exactly what it is, but it can be worn on its own because of all the pigment, and it's a really nice nude kind of glossy lip. The other product that I want that's on my wish list is the Kosas wet lip oils. Those look really interesting. They're really cute packaging, and I've seen a couple people swatch them and wear them, and I have a couple that I want to pick up. The last category I have is a minis section, and I love a good mini, and I think they're just so freaking adorable. So I wanted to link a few minis that I found on the website. So the first is an ILIA Prime and Set Mini Duo. So you actually get both the Fade Into Soft Focus Finishing Powder as well as the mini True Skin Serum Radiant Priming Serum. Oh my god. So you get 2 minis of these together for a little set, and I think that's a great way to introduce yourself to the product, especially if you don't want to buy the full size just yet. They also have a mini of the Lawless Seal the Deal Loose Setting Powder. The Lila B, they have a mini one of the Aglow, but they also have a duo, which is the same price, I believe, as just this face mist, with a travel size. So for the price of just this, I believe you get the large regular size and a little travel size, which is amazing. They also have a mini of the Aglow priming oil, so if you guys want that. They also have a cleansing butter, which is like a makeup remover, so that was launched with this, and they have a mini one of that if you don't want to buy the full size. They also have a little mini of the Lila B Luxe Lip Oil Mini Duo with 2 different colors in like little minis. So those are the minis that I found that were really cute, and I thought I should share with you. So that is it for all of my Sephora, Clean at Sephora beauty recommendations. It's a great time to pick up some of these products if you've had them on your wish list. If any of you also have any of the products that were on my wish list that I don't own and you already have a review of them, or you know how they work, then please let me know in the comment section down below. Share the information. I'd love to hear your thoughts on those specific products. If you do own them and have them and tried them and love them or hate them, whatever way, please share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. I'm thinking about all of you, and thank you to everyone who has just given me such amazing wishes and loves. Some of you have been tagging me in like tag a frontline worker, and I think it's so sweet. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. It really honestly makes my day. Like when I come home from a shift at the hospital and I'm feeling like super overwhelmed or like really like stressed and anxious, and I see your guys' messages, it honestly makes my day. Like it makes everything that's going on and all the stress and all the fear like just go away for a second. So, oh my god, I'm getting emotional. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna stop talking about it, but yes, thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you in my next video.